saw what many called the storm of the century hit California. Over the course of 2 weeks, the storm dropped enough water to make up for much of the drought in the previous year. The citizens became complacent. Individuals stopped switching to drought-resistant lawns. They stopped shortening their showers. They kept the water running while they brushed their teeth. This last week, however, California saw one of its largest reserves devastated. The Oroville Dam began to have issues, and though it did not completely collapse, it began leaking 100,000 cubic feet of water per second. This is a wake-up call. The war is not over. The degrading of California's infrastructure combined with overusage of water can culminate in millions going without the basic needs for life. Do your part. Conserve water. Contact your legislators to let them know you're keeping your eyes on our water infrastructure, and you expect them to as well.
Living in a generation where everything is sexualized, teens today are having sex more now than ever. Social standards are changing, relationship expectations and norms are so much different than they used to be, and teens are scared and ashamed to ask for help when it comes to having safe sex. But what if there is a place where these teens can go without being judged? What if there is a place for these teens to go without having to be afraid? And teens are scared and ashamed to... What if there was a place for these teens to go to ask the questions they want to ask and receive birth control or health care that they need in order to practice safe sex? Well, there is. Planned Parenthood has been around for 100 years and is the most trusted healthcare provider that believes in health care for all, with no expectations or limitations in those they provide services for. Planned Parenthood is a nonprofit organization that runs off of donations, and that's where you can help. Planned Parenthood is asking for donations, no matter how big, no matter how small. Anything can help. According to Planned Parenthood's fact sheet, the teenage pregnancy rate in the United States has declined to its lowest level in the past 40 years due to the increased access of birth control Planned Parenthood has helped provide. You can go online and donate at www.plannedparenthood.org, or you can also call our national toll-free call center at 1-800-798-7092. That's 1-800-789-7092. Go online or call today to make a donation and help be a part of the cause for healthcare for all. Planned Parenthood. Care no matter what.
You're listening to Tiger Radio.
Clear.
The pulse of Pacific.
Good evening, Tiger fans. Welcome into the beautiful confines of Klein Family Field. Tonight's matchup between the University of Pacific Tigers being the home team and, of course, the Portland Pilots being the away team. How's everyone doing tonight? Hopefully everyone's good. I am Jeff Dominic along with Paul Meiskens, and it is also senior night. On top of that, it's also fireworks night, as some of the seniors currently are being addressed here. We'll give you... Actually, all of the fielding seniors are going to be starting tonight in the Pacific Tigers lineup. We'll kind of talk to you a little bit about who's the seniors that are getting congratulated right now. As Joe Slater is one of the assistant coaches, actually giving a hug to Will Leyden. Leyden will not be starting tonight, still dealing with a little bit of an elbow injury, and it sounds like he. It's still positive on that outlook still currently, but the things will remain to be seen. Seniors on the mount or that have already been announced already. Vince Arobio being one of them, one of the Pacific Tigers, actually the Pacific Tigers all-time saves leader, and has produced good numbers, and probably will be hearing his name called in the summer, hopefully again as he did last year, in the 23rd round to the Boston Red Sox. We may hear his name again one more time, that being Vince Arobio. And then, of course, after that, we would have Miles Haddad, a relief pitcher, also can play in the infield a little bit. He is one of the he's from Burbank, California, has pitched effectively this year in relief appearances, and done a great job for the Pacific Tigers, and really helped the Tigers over this little bit of a hump that they were accomplished with, and hopefully he has done so, because next year is looking pretty promising. Only 8 seniors this year is the graduating class for the Tigers baseball team, so a lot of positivity there. for him, and hopefully he's paved a way for the Tigers throughout his senior career or throughout his career here at Pacific. Jimmy Boris, the center fielder. What more can you say about him? He has been a fairly normal mainstay at center field. He will exchange places with a couple of other outfielders that we'll talk about tonight. And with a center fielder like him, not the season that he would want this year, but has been a regular face here for Pacific for quite a few years. McKay Koisian, we'll go to McKay Koisian, who's been a replacement for the Pacific Tigers, has done a phenomenal job out in right throughout the beginning. I remember seeing him last year a lot in right field, and would also play center field as a defensive replacement occasionally too, whenever Boris was not in the lineup that night for whatever reason. McKay Koisian not playing as much as I'm sure as he would like to, but has been very effective this season as more of a defensive role, and we'll see him in the designated hitter role later tonight as well. Trying to grab you one more senior, and it would be Jordan Gonzalez, the relief pitcher, right-handed pitcher, who has really tamed his motion and his pitching mechanics, and I think Mike New the head coach has done a phenomenal job with what he's been able to accomplish, as he's had a good little streak of not allowing runs, and that was broken, but he played in San Jose, and I remember that's San Jose State, and that's when he started that little streak of not allowing any runs, and it lasted a good solid 6 innings, and a relief pitcher being able to do that in this level is doing a great job, and Jordan Gonzalez has I've actually had a chance to talk with him. He was doing a little bit of stuff with Lucas Halstead, and they had a little bit of a radio show, so I was able to they were my first 2 guys. I was able to show them a little bit of the ropes there over at the communications department. So they were one of the first shows here, or for the first radio shows that Pacific was starting to pull up. So I remember asking him how did he start his that motion that he had, and you know what was kind of crazy about that, Paul, is that he said that he was in front of scouts, and one of his trainers or one of the guys that he was with said, just throw as hard as you can, and that's how his motion started.
Well, yeah, his motion is certainly one where he looks like he's throwing it as hard as he can. Although, I think we've seen over the last year or two with head coach Mike New, they've kind of worked on that motion. Still kind of a lot to it, but a little less chaotic, we'll say, than it had been the last year or two.
And he learned a lot. And I don't remember the game off the top of my head, but I know he was going in as relief pitcher, and in his first throwing motion, he got hurt, a lower back strain, and that was and after that, that's when you started to see things taper off. So Jordan Gonzalez, a senior, being honored here tonight. Also, Will Leiden has been a regular starter here for Pacific for quite a few years, and has had, and once again, wish we could see his pitching one more time, but with the concerns of his elbow and everything else, that we'll see, that still remains to be seen. But he will be forever remembered as the pitcher that he was a workhorse for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, last season it seemed like he also just couldn't get a win. Although he would go out there, and you could count on Will to go out there, throw 5, 6, 7 innings, and give your chance a team to win on every night that Will was out there on the mound, and he's certainly, you mentioned Arroyo, we'll probably hear his name come draft time, and certainly you would think a guy like Will Leiden, even with the injury issues, we'll probably hear his name called as well.
Should definitely get some looks. Will Leiden should. Blake Berry, another outfielder who would play center field. He's going to be playing left field tonight. He's another guy that has been. Here's what I like about Blake Berry. I actually had a chance with him last night to talk with him after the game against Portland, the first game of the series. And what I learned about him in just the first time that I actually had a chance to talk with him, he doesn't sugarcoat things too much. And Blake Berry he's hit more home runs this season than he has hit all of his career here at Pacific. And now it came over this season alone. He's hit 2. He's got a total of 3 now. So Blake Berry, he's a guy that I love watch play, and another guy that has actually played fairly well over in left field. but we've known him to play center field quite often. We're getting close to the rounding up the seniors, and I want to say there's at least one or two more. Actually, there's only one more. And what more can you say about this guy? He was recruited as a pitcher. He led the WCC in home runs last year. And he was, I would say, for reasons that are very well explainable, he was overshadowed in some ways by a longtime Tiger in Gio Brusso last season. But no one can deny on this type of season that this guy has had, albeit that he'd love to see his batting average come up a little bit more. But still, 9 home runs on the season. This season, none other than Danny Mayer.
Yeah, Mayer's, there's a reason why last year when he hit 314, 15 home runs, they were tweeting the mayor of Bombsville.
Yeah, well, I call him the mayor of Klein Family Field. So,
well, yeah, former SID Matt Swanson, who was a tweeting. He was a very interesting tweeter, but he would tweet off, and the mayor of Bombsville once again, and Mayer hit a lot of home runs over the last 2 years. He only hit 1 his first 2 years here at Pacific, but then 15 last year already, 9 here this season, 25 in his career, and you would think before its final game here, he might hit a few more.
We certainly hope so. And Danny Mayer has 9 home runs. He's batting just above 200, and but he was also drafted to the Minnesota Twins. That was in the 38th round. We may see potentially, hopefully more, but at least right now we can probably see possibly 3 Tiger players that we may hear on in June.
Oh yeah, you certainly would expect some of those guys, Mayer, Leiden, Robio, definitely will be hearing their names called. And the draft, especially in Major League Baseball, it's a long one. So who knows? Maybe even more than 3.
Senior night is always. I would love to say that. To say that, to realize that I've called these guys. Throughout this season, last season, called a lot of these games here. Sometimes with you, or sometimes with another person. But to see these guys and potentially see them like we saw Gio this season as well already over at Banner Island Ballpark and in the San Jose organization or San Francisco organization, but playing for San Jose. Excuse me. But to see these guys and the potential that may happen is always kind of exciting.
Well, yeah, I mean, not only the Pacific players, but we've seen plenty of players play against Pacific that have gone on and heard their names called, and it's kind of fun to be able to say, man, I knew them before they became big time.
I knew him when he was a snot-nosed little kid, right?
Although
none of these guys are little kids, though. To be honest,
especially not Danny Mayer at 6'5", 245.
Yeah, say that to his face, right? No, but and Danny's funny thing is, I mean, I've known Danny for at least a good solid year and a half now, and he's just one. He's a big kid, but I think for the most part, he's pretty easy going about everything. He's able to take it as much as he can dish it. So. But all these guys, it's kind of surreal because it is it's fireworks night. Got a good crowd kind of starting to form in here on hand, and a good baseball game coming up because we haven't even talked about what happened last night to wrap things up, start things off, and get you ready for first pitch.
Yeah, and the Tigers obviously lost last night 10-7 despite out hitting Portland 17-10, and it's easy to find something to point at in. As a reason why the 4 errors by the Tigers, led to a total of, I believe, 6 of the 10 runs were unearned last night, and a team, good or bad, you can't afford to make mistakes like that and give up that many runs. And I believe it was the last game we did together when Lucas Halstead, who said they felt like coming into this weekend they could win all 3, as Portland's not a great team, but then he. You talk about brutal honesty. He was like, but it's neither are we at times.
Yeah. And
unfortunately, that the negativeness, last night didn't quite work out the way the Tigers wanted. But you would think if the Tigers can have an offensive performance like they did last night, as long as they clean up the defense a little bit, they can bounce back with the win here tonight.
Well, and you talked about brutal honesty, correct? And Blake Berry had one as well. And last night when we talked to him, he said we took our foot off the throttle. We went up 3-0 right from the start. Thought we had them right where we wanted. They came back with a run, and then we wound up scoring a run, and then they scored 3 in the 3 in the third, and then we get one back. It was kind of a little boxing match. We took our foot off the throttle, and that is why we lost. And Carter Hayes, speaking which, is also, I hope he had he got a learning curve last night and with 2 errors, but he got quite a few baseballs hit his way and had to really defend more than he was able to play defense. So it'll be interesting what kind of what he has learned, as he will make the start tonight as well at third base, which, as we were talking off air, it was kind of weird to have Sondre over at second and Carter Hayes over at third, but for obvious reasons, trying to shore up that middle of the infield is always going to be key, and you have probably your 2 best defenders as of this point in Sondre at second and Tarantino at short.
Yeah, I mean, and right now also, you're giving some guys perhaps looking at them in different spots. Not that they don't want to try to finish strong this year, but you also got to look ahead. And so a guy like Carter Hayes, gets his second start in 2 nights at third after just 2 starts before last night all season. Gives a chance for the coaching staff to see somebody at third and kind of know what they have there for next season.
And they're going to go ahead and go with the national anthem. So we will step aside, and when we come back, we will give you the starting lineups here as Klein Family Field as the West Coast Conference matchup is about to go underway here just shortly.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does Star Spangled Banner yet wave? The land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hey, Paul, did I mention that it was fireworks night tonight as well?
Yeah, I think you did.
So if you heard a little popping in the background, that's exactly what it is, and that's what we'll be expecting later tonight as well. And we are getting close to first pitch here, and Paul's going to be taking it away. It's going to be kind of weird as I'm going to be calling 4 through 6, and but we came to a mutual agreement here, and I'm going to honor it, of course.
So, as students and Pacific staff run on the field to clear the firework display, we'll take a look at the starting lineups for both teams here tonight. First, for the visiting Portland Pilots, who enter 9-32-1 overall on the season, 5-14 in West Coast Conference play. Portland snapped a 5-game losing streak with the win last night, as they will have Bo Brundage leading off in center, followed by Tate Budnick catching and batting by Kevin Wade at first, Cody Hawken in left, Mike Hicks, the sophomore, will DH and bat 6th, followed by Jason Rosen in right, Justin Thaxton at third, and then Michael Forgione will bat 9th and play second. And on the mound for Portland here tonight, a freshman left-hander, Grady Miller making his 11th start on the season. He is 1-6 with a 5.01 ERA. In 55 2/3 innings, he has allowed 31 earned runs while walking 21 and striking out 53. So nearly a strikeout per inning for the freshman left-hander. Meanwhile, the Tigers, kind of a different look to their batting order here tonight, as Tigers are honoring all the seniors here tonight, even though not the final home game of the season, but a great crowd expected. In fact, the sign near the gate, sold out, expected tonight.
That's fantastic.
So fireworks as well, so it should be a great atmosphere here as the Tigers will have senior Jimmy Boris leading off in center. Batting second at short, Matt Tarantino. Catching, James Free. The freshman batting .326 on the season, up to 10 home runs on the season after a pair of home runs last night. Batting fourth, playing first, Ryan Schultz. The junior will then be followed by the senior Danny Mayer in right. Mayer also hit a home run last night, his ninth of the season. McKay Cassian will bat sixth in DH, followed by senior Blake Berry in left. And we talked about him briefly earlier. The freshman Carter Hayes once again will get the start here tonight at third. His fourth start of the season, just his seventh appearance. And then batting ninth and playing second is the sophomore Kevin Sondry. And then on the mound here tonight for the Tigers is Cooper Cassad, a junior right-hander. Cassad 1-2 on the season, just his fourth start, although 15th appearance, as 11 of his 14 appearances before tonight have come out of the bullpen. Cassad 1-2 with a 5.94 ERA. He has pitched 36 and 1/3 innings with allowing 24 runs, walking just 8 while striking out 20. So a pair of pitchers here tonight, both with ERAs over 5, and we saw an offensive filled game last night, a game that saw the two teams combine for 17 runs, 27 hits, and 4 errors. So perhaps in for another offensive filled game here tonight.
Well, one would definitely hope. I mean, but I think that what we want to see offense, of course, we're fans of the offense, fans of the long ball. And, of course, we got two guys definitely that can do it. But we have, the Tigers do, I shouldn't say we, I got to be careful on how I say that. The Tigers have, throughout that lineup, especially last night's lineup, the 2 through 6 guys can all hit the ball hard and far.
Yeah.
And we'd only assume that McKay Koisian will probably play the designated hitter, they'll get an at bat, and then he'll probably make way for Lucas Halstead, who will play the rest of the way through the DH, and he can hit home runs, and he's starting to hit them at a high rate here lately.
Yeah, and not to perhaps jinx it, but earlier this week on Tuesday, a game against Sac State. Going into that game, we kind of thought we were going to have offense.
That's true.
In bunches. The last game we worked together and ended up just a 5-2 final. But
which, hey, you know what that means? That means that the game went fast, and that's always okay too.
Hey, Giovannoni that night pitched outstanding, and nothing wrong with a good pitcher's duel either. As the Tigers take the field in the black uniforms here tonight with white pants, black caps, as Cassad throwing his warm-up pitches defensively from left to right in the outfield. Barry in left. In center, Jimmy Boris, and then Danny Mayer in right. Around the infield, Hayes at third, Tarantino at short, Sondry at second, Schultz at first, and then behind the plate, James Free. And once again, on the mound for the Tigers, the junior right-hander, Cooper Cassad.
And how can you not like someone that has Flash Gordon as their intro music? That is awesome. Cooper Cassad making waves with me.
He's got at least one fan.
I'm sure he has more than one, but
I was going to say at least one fan up here in the press box.
there you go.
But even here, he's got more than one.
Really? I was going to say, you're not... I didn't know if you were talking about me or not.
So, as the Tiger roars, Cassad, the junior from Petaluma, kind of kicks some dirt around. As stepping in to lead off is Bo Brundage, the freshman center fielder, batting .282 on the season. The Pilots here this evening in their gray uniforms with purple socks, as the first pitch swinging is a 2-hopper at 2-second. And then there's Sondry for out number 1.
Dead on similar to like it was last night. Last night Jason Rosen got the start in the or actually was the leadoff hitter, and the first pitch he saw was a 1-pitch 1-out, and I believe it was actually more of a, I want to say that actually it could have been a 4-3 put out as well. Actually, I'm going to tell you.
And so we talked about Sondry able to play multiple positions in the infield, and the first ball, a ground ball to him for out number 1. So 1 pitch, 1 out, and that'll bring up Tate Budnick, the junior catcher, batting .200 on the season. Budnick, his 21st start, batting from the right side. The flags in right field. don't look like they're moving at all, almost straight down on a nice sunny, clear sky evening here in Stockton as that pitch misses low for ball one.
Budnick got the start yesterday. He pitched 3 2/3, 11 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, and struck out 2.
1-1. Fastball on the outside corner for strike 2.
And of course, he got the start, but no decision in last night's game.
Calling balls and strikes here this evening behind home, Barney Navarro, Kevin Walker down the first base line, and Josh Gottlieb at third as the 1-2 is in the dirt for ball 2.
It's kind of weird that you mentioned that because Navarro was actually the home plate umpire last night as well. Don't usually see that. You see kind of normally a rotating staff usually.
Well, if that's the case, I almost wonder if it's not Navarro behind home and instead it's somebody else, because normally each guy will take a turn in the rotation. As that ball is a routine fly ball to right, Mayer settles under and makes the catch. So 2 up, 2 down here in the top of the first for Cooper Casad, and that'll bring up sophomore shortstop Matt Kelly.
It looks like Navarro. I couldn't confirm it, but that could be Navarro.
Now batting, number 20, the shortstop.
Of course, if you're an umpire, you always would rather not be named. Or if somebody knows your name, it's not normally a good sign.
That's true.
So 2 up, 2 down, and Matt Kelly now, the sophomore, batting .297 on the season. He has started in 43 games now for the Pilots. Middle infield playing almost on the edge of the infield dirt and outfield grass. First pitch swinging. High fly ball to right. Mayer will settle under and make the catch once again. So a very quick 1-2-3 inning. 7 pitches thrown by Casad. 3 outs recorded. We head to the bottom of the first. No score between Portland and Pacific on the Pacific Digital Network.
Thousands of cats and dogs each year are housed in animal shelters. Local volunteers and workers help to give these poor animals a second chance. But they can't do it alone. Please go down to your local shelter today to volunteer, donate, or adopt. Your support can help end the 4 million euthanations performed each year on animals. Please help. Give a little to save a lot of life. For more information, visit us at www.humanesociety.org.
The Scholar Share Tiger Pack is back. For just $40, you can grab 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 sodas to any Pacific baseball game. It's the best value in town. For more information about the Scholar Share Tiger Pack, head online to pacifictigers.com/Tiger Pack. So after a 3 up, 3 down top of the first, the Tigers will have their first chance to take the lead against the freshman Grady Miller. Defensively for the Pilots, from left to right in the outfield, Hawken in left, Brundage in center, Rosen in right. Around the infield, Thaxton at third, Kelly at short, Forgione at second, Wade at first, and Budnick behind the plate catching the freshman left-hander Grady Miller. Miller from Wenatchee, Washington.
I want to talk about a couple of guys that had a little bit of an issue last night with the wind that was blowing all over the place. Brundage and Rosen were just having one heck of a time here in Stockton last night.
Man, it was a very windy night. I was over watching the women's soccer game, and that wind caused some havoc for me too with my eyes and allergies.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But you can see the flags in right field here, starting to move a little bit. But right now, a very windy, free evening here in Stockton as Boris, the lead off for the Tigers, and he takes a pitch high for ball 1. Boris, his 16th start. He is 10 of 49 on the season. A couple doubles, 5 runs batted in. 1-0. Chopper up the middle, and that'll be a base hit and a center. So there's a good start for one of the Tigers seniors.
Absolutely.
So Boris, the base hit right back up the middle.
And real quick, while we got a second, if you're liking the way that the Portland Pilots are aggressive, the Tigers, Cooper Casad only pitched 8 pitches. It seems to be whenever we come together, all of a sudden they just want to throw as much as they can, or as little as they can, as quickly and get the bats going.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Earlier this week on Tuesday when we did the game, the Sac State was very aggressive against the Tigers the first about 2 innings or so, and then they really started to be a little more selective. So Tigers a leadoff base hit. Boris on first as that pitch to Tarantino in the dirt. A nice job by Budnick to block it and not allow Boris to head down to second. Tarantino 303 on the season. 11 doubles, 1 triple, 6 home runs, 23 runs batted in.
He had his triple last night as well. So he had a double and a triple to start things off in that evening.
And that 1-0 misses outside for ball 2. Boris at first is 1 for 2 on stolen base attempts this season. Certainly something we've talked about both on air and off air. Tigers don't try to steal many bases.
And if you look at the other way around, Portland does.
Yeah, you have one guy for the Pilots, their number 3 hitter, Kelly, 11 stolen bases. That's almost as many as all 9 guys in the Tigers batting order here tonight combined, as the 2-0 is a called strike. After Tarantino will be free. Schultz and Mayer. Mentioned the Tigers jumped out to the early lead last night.
One of those was off of a 2-run home run by James Free.
And the throw goes over to first. Sometimes I really do think they have the pitcher has our broadcast. They hear the stolen base numbers and threw over. But yeah, the Tigers, the 3 in the first, the 1 in the second, and the 1 in the third led 5-4. And then, unfortunately, the Pilots scored the next 6 as another throw over to first.
Boris has good speed. I wouldn't say he's not going to burn up a base pad, but he definitely has good speed and will steal a base on you. He's 1 of 2 on the season.
Yeah, and part of that is he hasn't played as many games as some others as that pitch. Nowhere close for ball 3, so perhaps Miller might want to worry about throwing strikes, as no matter how close to first Boris is, another pitch out of the zone, he'll get to head down to second anyways. So a 3-1 count here to Tarantino. It's been Tarantino 303 on the season. And he's swinging away. That ball chopped foul near the third base coaching box for strike 2.
Last night, Michael Ruvenkamp had to kind of take a little bit of he went head over tea kettle last night after one went right down his alley, and luckily for him, he missed it completely. And I think he's okay with that.
Perhaps why he's
playing a little further out.
Yeah, a little farther down than the actual third base coaching box, although who uses the coaching box really?
True.
So a full count pitch, and before it, once again, another throw over to first by Miller.
And in fact, Joe Slater, the first base coach, is nowhere near the first base box, anyways. So I mean, both of them play a little different, but it's kind of interesting now that we bring it out.
The full count pitch, and that misses outside. Boris was off on the pitch, and he can slow down and go into second, standing up. So Tarantino draws the walk.
28, the catcher, James Free.
And that'll bring up James Free. And while Free steps in, heading out to the mound is Budnick to have a word with Miller. And not to start, the freshman left-hander would want here. Base hit and a walk, and now he's got to face James Free.
Not only that, Free can hit home runs on both sides. He did it last night. He had a home run in the first inning, and then later on had a home run from the right side of the plate as well.
Mentioned Free, the switch hitter, the freshman, batting .326, now 10 home runs and 36 runs batted in. And that was a big swing there. For perhaps looking for home run number 11 as he misses for strike 1.
Well, we found out quickly and early that when he hits one, he plans on letting it go a long distance.
Yeah.
That Cal Poly series, he had a couple doubles, and I remember talking to him, and people were very, very impressed with what he's been able to do this season as a freshman.
Yeah, the first baseman playing a step or two in, and there's another swing and a miss. So after giving up the walk to Tarantino, Miller's come back and gotten Free to swing and miss on the first 2 pitches. And Free, certainly with great power, doesn't need the wind's help. On a pretty calm night here in Stockton right now, although looks like the wind picking up a little bit. big lead for Tarantino at first. The 0-2, and that's in the dirt for ball one. And the first baseman, Wade, kind of playing back behind Tarantino at first, allowing him to have a pretty good lead at first. The second baseman, Forgione, is trying to keep Boris close. Bit of a hold the other way if Free doesn't pull the ball. 1-2. And that's strike three on the outside corner. So a big strikeout there for Miller as he gets Free looking for out number one.
33, the first baseman, Ryan Schultz.
Guess the freshman works a little bit better under the pressure. Get man in scoring position after a base hit and a walk, and
it looked like Free was looking for an inside pitch, and that 1-2 on the corner. So still 2 on, but now 1 out, as that'll bring up Ryan Schultz. Schultz, the Tigers' first baseman, batting .298 on the season. 3 home runs, 26 runs batted in. As that pitch misses high for ball one.
Schultz went 2 for 5 yesterday, scored a run thanks to Blake Berry, who drove him in. That was in the first inning. Struck out once. And Schultz having just like Matt Tarantino, having a season that started off a little tough, but really has come around here for the junior and for the Tigers.
Yeah, and while only 3 home runs on the season, he certainly has the power to hit the long ball pitch in there for a called strike. But I don't know about you, but I'm kind of surprised Schultz only has 3 home runs on the season.
He's a big kid. I think that next year, to finish off this year, we may see him have a few more. I still kind of believe that because he's a big kid and he can knock him for a very long time with the pitcher stepping off the mound.
Yeah, Schultz 6 foot even, 215 pounds. After Schultz is Danny Mayer. The Tigers look to try to take the lead here in the first like they did last night. Although hopefully tonight the Tigers can take the lead and maintain it the whole way. The 1-1 is fouled straight back into the net.
Well, we got a chance to say congratulations to the softball team, taking a couple here earlier today, not here but in Santa Clara. So they're looking to end on a good note, winning 5 straight.
Yeah, season best 5-game winning streak. Been a couple years since they've gotten a 5-game winning streak. Up to second place now in the West Coast Conference, behind BYU, of course. The Tigers softball team. They'll be back home for their final games next weekend as the 1-2 fouled off. And certainly, talking about the Tigers baseball team with some exciting freshmen, the softball team as well, and bodes well for the future, even though certainly the baseball team a little bit disappointing of a season this season. Just the 2 wins so far in conference play.
Having a tough time on the road as well, with only 1 win.
1-2 pitch again here to Schultz, and before that, a throw back to second, and that ball goes into center field, and finally getting up and heading to third is Boris, as Tarantino will go down to second. So E1, and really Miller kind of had Boris with a good throw, and instead it was a high throw, kind of went off the glove and into center field, and Boris was kind of slow to get up and realize the ball was in center. But I think Boris might have seen Tarantino halfway to first and second before getting up and heading to third.
Well, it also looked like that Boris lost track where the ball went. I think that when he looked around, he was trying to look out of basically off the foot of the shortstop Kelly. Couldn't see it, and just kind of all of a sudden he basically looked at what Tarantino was doing, and that's when he took up and ran.
Yeah, and the center fielder Brundage, you can see right now where he's playing. He was so far back, even with Boris slow to get up and head to third, easily makes it. As the center fielder Brundage is almost standing on the warning track and straightaway center. The 1-2, foul tip, and the tag for out number 2. So Schultz unable to put the ball in play and try to give the Tigers the lead as he strikes out swinging. So back-to-back strikeouts for Grady Miller, and the Tigers still with 2 in scoring position, and now 2 outs for senior right fielder Danny Mayer. Mayer, 215 on the season, 9 home runs, 20 runs batted in.
Well, you mentioned Miller almost averages a strikeout per inning, and he's got 2 already. So
Yeah, and certainly that second one, a big out number 2 with the Tigers had a chance really with a productive out to get a run. Instead, now they're going to need Mayer to try to reach base safely as the first pitch, a called strike. And Budnick setting up outside. That pitch misses outside for ball 1.
For Budnick, I want to say that that was a little bit of a let's see how far his zone truly is, because he stepped out even further on the outside corner in that last pitch.
Yeah, that was one of those. If Mayer had been batting in the opposite batter's box, he would have been hit by the baseball.
Exactly.
1-1. And that's a base hit in the left. That'll score 2. Boris easily in. Being waved around is Tarantino. So the Tigers get a 2-out, 2-run base hit from Danny Mayer to take a 2-0 lead here in the first.
What a way to go out on style for this one of the other seniors here, as Boris, the senior, gets on base. Matt Tarantino, the junior, reaches as well. They've advanced to second and third off a wild throw, an E1, and then Mayer, the other senior, driving them both in. So showing how to get it done, kid.
Yeah, and you talk about really an early momentum shift for the Tigers, as Miller nearly was able to get out of 2 on, no outs, and get out of it without giving up a run. Instead, a big 2-out, 2-run hit from Mayer, and the Tigers lead 2-0 as McKay Cassian steps in. It's Tigers senior DH, just his second start of the season, 19th appearance, 2 for 15. One of those 2 hits a double as he bats from the left side, and the 0-1 is chopped foul near the Portland dugout. Tigers last night put up a crooked number with 3 in the first. They've put up 2 here to lead 2-0. Mayer now 22 runs batted in on the season. And the 0-2 misses high and outside.
Ryan Shreve got to start in yesterday's game. The freshman pitched 4 2/3, 7 hits, 8 runs, only 3 earned in that tough game yesterday. But it goes to show you, Shreve's going to be somebody to watch as a pitcher here next year as well.
And down on strikes goes Cassian. So Miller does strike out 3 in the first, but not before the Tigers take the lead. Danny Mayer, a 2-run, 2-out RBI base hit. And after 1 inning, Pacific leads Portland 2-0 here on the Pacific Digital Network.
My hero doesn't wear a cape or have superpowers. She doesn't slay dragons or kill wizards. No one wants my hero's autograph. She never goes to Hollywood parties, and she definitely doesn't have a star on the Walk of Fame.
My hero doesn't try to sell me soda, candy bars, cereal, or cheeseburgers.
You won't hear my hero song on the radio. He doesn't have a crew, bling bling, or a mansion.
You can't buy my hero's makeup line, handmade purses, or designer baby clothes.
My hero didn't win the pennant. She can't do a 360 dunk, and there's no way she'll score a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Some of New York's most admired figures are the city's public school teachers. Just ask one of the millions of kids who learn from these heroes every day. For more information on the most rewarding job you can imagine, visit teachnyc.net. Join New York's brightest. Teach NYC. A public service announcement brought to you by the New York City Department of Education, the Appleseed Foundation, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Klein Family Field as we head to the second inning with the Tigers leading the Pilots 2-0. Paul Meiskens along with Jeff Dominic. Glad you could join us on a beautiful Saturday evening here in Stockton. And another good start for the Tigers. Mayer, the 2-run single with 2 outs to get the Tigers the lead. And the Pilots will have the 4-5-6 part of their order drew up here in the second against Cooper Casad, who had a great first inning. A 1-2-3 first through just 7 pitches. So Kevin Wade, the first baseman, to lead it off for the Pilots here. And he takes a called strike.
Beautiful pitch right there. A curveball right on the inside corner. Cooper can locate those all night long. That would be a long night for Portland, a great night for him.
0-1 fastball fouled off for strike 2. Mentioned Casad, just his 4th start of the season. the junior from Petaluma. In high school, he played baseball and basketball. The 0-2 misses high. Cassad came to the Tigers from the College of Marin, where he played 2 years. He also was teammates with Matthew Tarantino and Ryan Schultz at the College of Marin before coming here. Really, all three of those guys have been big for the Tigers here this season as that pitch fouled off.
Well, the College of Marin is a well-known area for Coach Slater and of course Noah Jackson, all former coaches in that area. So, and of course, head coach Mike New of Cal Berkeley, and so there's a lot of history there for them.
That pitch in the dirt and not trying to swing there is Wade. That will make the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Cassad in his last start last weekend at St. Mary's went 8 innings, allowed 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 of which were earned. As down on strikes, he goes.
That curveball once again, just if he's got a good spot on that, that's going to be a good closing pitch for him.
Number 16, the left fielder, Cody Hawkins.
So the first strikeout of the night for Cooper Cassad as Wade goes down looking. And that'll bring up left fielder Cody Hawkins, the sophomore, batting .252 on the season. He has started in all 43 games this season for the Pilots, one of 2 players to do so, along with Matt Kelly, as that pitch misses outside for ball 1.
Cassad just looked like he kind of fell off that pitch a little bit, and that one went way astray.
That fastball misses low and inside for ball 2. Hawkins with some power, 5 home runs on the season, 8 doubles, a triple, 23 runs batted in. And he swings there, foul tip. The end of the glove of free for strike 1.
We were talking earlier about Carter Hayes' tough night last night with 2 errors at third base. He's actually playing a lot further back than he did last night, kind of mimicking Kevin Sondry the other night.
And that's a high fly ball to shallow right. And coming a long ways and making the catch is Sondry, kind of right along the foul line in shallow right. And he almost looked like he had it bobbled a little bit, but Sondry makes the catch.
The designated hitter, Mike Hicks.
So 2 up, 2 down here in the second. As that'll bring up sophomore designated hitter Mike Hicks. Hicks on the season batting .208. 2 home runs, 16 runs batted in. As Hicks will bat from the left side. Called strike on the outside corner. Hicks, the sophomore from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, 6'6", 250.
And he's I was going to say he stands upright. This is not the one I was thinking of last night. There's a fellow Pilot that stands about the same height. I think he's 6'5", and he stands straight up.
Yeah, and that probably you're thinking of Kevin Wade, who led off the inning by striking out looking on a couple curveballs from Cassad. And now an 0-2 pitch here, and that one in the dirt. So, good start here for Cooper Cassad. Right now, just 20 pitches through an inning and 2/3. Looking to try to set down the Pilots in order once again here in the second. The 1-2. Fouled off, and look out as that pitch lined over the Tigers dugout and towards the little suite-like areas. So Hicks able to foul that off and stay alive. Another 1-2 pitch to come here. And swing and a miss. Cooper Cassad, his second strikeout of the inning. And once again, a 1-2-3 inning for Cassad. through an inning and a half. Tigers 2, Pilots nothing on the Tigers Digital Network.
That's the Big Dipper over there.
Yellow and blue make green.
Well, a cow pie really isn't a pie.
Come on, Griff! Open your eyes!
Remember, you're always teaching. Teach carefully. React with rage, and kids will learn it's okay to do the same. Keep your cool, and kids will do likewise. For advice, visit actagainstviolence.org. Brought to you by MetLife Foundation, National Association for the Education of Young Children, and the Ad Council.
In a world where your tires are your only connection to the road, one man, 4 tires, free air. An epic battle against underinflation, tire damage, and even tire failure. In the ultimate fight for properly inflated tires, the warrior gives his heart, his soul, to keep those he loves safe on the road. Tires will inflate. Money will be saved. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
At Wingstop, our thing is wings. We cook them to order in 11 flavors and pair them with hand-cut fries. When the wing craving hits you, order online at wingstop.com. Wingstop, get at it.
You emphasize the get at it, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You got to get at it. And right now, the Tigers have gotten at it. And in front, 2-0 here as we head to the bottom of the second. So far, Cooper Casad 6 up, 6 down. And the Tigers will have the bottom 3 of their order due up here against Grady Miller as Blake Berry takes the call to strike. Berry batting .283 on the season. His 16th start.
Another senior that we 6 in the lineup tonight.
And now Berry in an 0-2 hole. Berry from Simi Valley, California. Grady Miller in the first inning had 3 strikeouts, but not before the Tigers got a 2-out, 2-run single from Mayer. As down on strikes goes Berry. So all 4 outs now so far tonight by Grady Miller with the strikeout. As Berry strikes out, and then they throw down the first to complete the strikeout 2-3.
And I got to correct myself. I said that there were 6 seniors. It's 4 seniors in the lineup for the Tigers tonight. 4 of the 8 seniors playing. The rest of them are pitchers, so
I'm sure we'll potentially see some of those.
Well, that's the way Cooper's pitching. I wouldn't say so for sure.
As the first pitch to Carter Hayes, a called strike. Hayes, the freshman third baseman, mentioned just his 4th start of the season, just his 7th game played. 2 hits on the season, 1 run batted in. The 0-1 fouled back towards the Portland on deck circle for strike 2.
He drove in that run last night. In the, I believe he drove in Blake Berry, actually.
The 0-2, then that pitch sails over the catcher's head and all the way to the backstop for ball 1. Talked about coming into tonight, Miller averaging nearly a strikeout per inning, and so far 4 strikeouts. Make that 5. Right down the middle. Hayes will go down looking. So back-to-back strikeouts to start the bottom of the second inning.
Now batting, number 8, the second baseman, Kevin Sondry.
3 straight strikeouts, and 5 out of the last 6 batters have struck out against Grady Miller, although the 1 hit in that mix, the Mayer single to put the Tigers in front 2-0, as the first pitch to Sondry misses low for ball 1. Sondry, the start tonight at second. Certainly, we've seen him at short and third. Really can play wherever the Tigers need him. Kind of a, some people like to call it a second leadoff hitter of sorts, batting in the number 9 spot. Seen him batting at the top of the order. Batting 9th here tonight, now at 2-0. And that ball fouled off over the dugout to our right.
Sondry arguably is a true leadoff hitter. He's been the leadoff hitter for the last couple of years for the Tigers. This being obviously his second year, the sophomore. And he can play, I think the only position so far in the infield he hasn't played will be first base. And catcher, of course.
The 2-1 fouled off out of play, but I would say Sondri is a guy that you could, if needed, I don't think there's a position he probably could not play. With his arm, I could see him playing catcher. I mean, you don't want to have to throw a position guy on the mound, but his arm, he's a guy that, I bet if Coach New needed him, he could go anywhere needed.
I think that would be kind of fun to see Sondri play all 9 positions.
The 2-2, and that ball lined into center field, and that'll be a base hit, so that'll end the strikeout streak by Grady Miller as Sondri, the 2-out base hit to center. And you mentioned guy playing all 9 positions. You know who I was?
You know I did it. You know why I did it. I was setting you up, Paul.
Of course, the Stockton Ports, the local minor league team here in town, had a player play all 9 positions in a game last season, a game that I helped put together.
Yeah, the architect.
And kind of a guy similar to Sondri, a guy that, versatile, kind of a middle infielder, but can play anywhere. So back to the top of the order for the Tigers, the 2-out base hit. The Tigers' second hit with 2 outs so far tonight as the first pitch to Boris, a called strike. Boris led off the bottom of the first for the Tigers with a base hit right back up the middle. He then would score on the Mayer 2-out base hit. And now the throw over to first, check on Sondri, and Sondri leads the Tigers with 4 stolen bases on the season. Was caught once. And certainly a case here with 2 outs that the Tigers might try to take second, and once again another throw over.
Yeah, I mean, with Jimmy Boris leading off, if he was to lead off next inning, of course, you've got another leadoff hitter. So either one of 2 things will happen. And, of course, you have Jimmy Boris lead off next inning, and if he does what Jimmy Boris should do in the leadoff spot, then you got Tarantino, Free, and Schultz to follow him up, and, of course, Danny Mayer. So interesting how they may play this.
And I think Miller
is listening to us.
Yeah. Throw home. And Sondri, despite the 3 pickoff attempts, has a nice lead, does not take off. Called strike on the outside corner. The count now no balls and 2 strikes. And you mentioned count here where perhaps Miller's going to throw a pitch out of the zone. Perhaps if it's in the dirt, making an even better pitch for Sondri to try to steal second and get in scoring position again with a good lead kind of on the edge of the cutout. Although Miller being a lefty makes it harder to steal when he's looking right at you. The 0-2 is in the dirt, and Sondri took a bit of a secondary lead when that ball bounced in the dirt, but a nice job by Budnick to quickly block it. And Sondri, putting on the brakes, goes back to first. So would have been a great pitch if he would have been running right away. He probably would have took it without a throw.
And you almost called it verbatim that you were suspecting that if a pitch is in the dirt, that Sondri may take off. He didn't, but it was almost right there.
And now the throw over to first. Well, you figure with an 0-2 count, as a pitcher, they're not going to want to throw a fastball down the middle like they would earlier in the count. They're more worried about not giving the hitter something to hit. And in that case, the pitch might be a great one to steal. And, we kind of saw it there. Unfortunately, Sondri wasn't just on a straight steal.
Well, we may see it again here with the 1-2.
And swing and a miss. Down on strikes goes Boris. So Grady Miller, once again with a 3-strikeout inning. He's got 6 strikeouts through 2, but the Tigers lead 2-0 after 2 innings here on the Pacific Digital Network and the W.TV.
Eric Easy E. Wright, Irvin Magic Johnson. These are just 2 of the many people who could not escape the horrible disease known as HIV. AIDS.gov calculated that 1.2 million people in the U.S. are living with HIV, and 1 in every 8 of them don't even know that they are HIV positive. It is time for everyone to go to their local doctor and get tested. Let's do what we can to make sure we continue the fight against HIV, so that we are no longer hearing sounds like this.
I don't want to die yet!
But instead hearing sounds like this.
I love you, Daddy!
Listen to this message. Please don't ignore. Go get tested, and the life you will save is yours.
Welcome back to Klein Family Field as we head to the third inning with the Pacific Tigers leading the Portland Pilots 2-0. So far, a little bit of a pitcher's duel in a way. Cooper Casad 6 up, 6 down so far. Grady Miller 6 strikeouts. The difference, the Tigers a couple hits in the first, including the 2-run single from Danny Mayer as the Tigers lead 2-0. So Portland here in the third, the bottom 3 in their batting order, Rosen, Thaxton, and Forgione against Cooper Casad, who threw 2 innings, has allowed no hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. He's thrown just 22 pitches through 2 innings. As Rosen steps in and will show bunt, and a foul tip bunt in the glove of Free for strike 1.
And Casad, once again, locating his pitches well and being effective early. Of course, it's always helpful that the Pilots are being aggressive, but locating well as well for the young junior righty.
As that pitch bounces in the dirt. Both of his strikeouts came in the second inning with a fly ball to short in between. Rosen, 1 extra base hit on the season, a double, as that pitch just misses the outside corner for ball 2.
Rosen, yesterday's game, 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts, did walk twice as well. Right fielder that actually was replaced in the 7th inning.
And flare to center coming in, and stopping and watching it land in front of him is Boris. So there's the first base hit of the night for Portland. Rosen, a fly ball single to center, and that breaks up the 6 straight retired by Cooper Casad.
Got one on the end of the bat, went right up the middle, just was able to land in front, and it was kind of interesting because Boris was playing pretty far back. Didn't seem like he got a good read on it, but it was dropping pretty fast at that same rate of speed as well. So kind of 50-50 on it, but I think Boris did a great job by holding back.
And that throw over to first nearly gets Rosen as he was leaning towards second, then able to slide back in safely as Justin Thaxton will bat here with a runner on for the Pilots. The third baseman batting just 173 on the season as he takes a called strike on the outside corner. Thaxton from Los Animas, Colorado. I've never heard of that place in Colorado, have you?
No, absolutely not.
It's been quite the path for him to get here to Portland out of Regis Jesuit High School, then Pacific, then Cisco College. As that pitch will make the count 1 ball and 1 strike. I thought the name seemed familiar. Rosen, the runner at first, 1 for 1 on stolen base attempts, and off he goes to throw down to second, and he is in there safely as really Free had a tough time with that pitch in the dirt. Really no chance to try to get Rosen, so a base hit and a stolen base, and now Portland with a runner in scoring position here in the third. Rosen, his 2nd stolen base on the season. That'll give Thaxton a chance to try to drive in his 3rd RBI. Sondri at second, playing on the edge of the outfield grass and infield dirt. Popped up, and that should find the seats behind the Tigers dugout, and it does, about 6 rows deep.
It's kind of interesting to see with Thaxton getting the start tonight. Hooger Wharf yesterday got the start, was replaced in the 5th inning after he reached second off of an error by Jimmy Boris, a little flare into center field. He was replaced later on that night by Webb. Webb finished off the game, and now we see Thaxton, so you kind of only wonder Hooger Wharf's condition.
And that's lined right to short, and that'll be a double play almost. As Tarantino made the catch and tried to tag out Rosen, and he thought he had him, and now a discussion with the umpire. And now coming out is Mike New to have a word, and Tarantino seemed pretty adamant that he had made the tag,
He absolutely did. I think it was a bang play, nevertheless, but it was a great job and great heads up play, really, by Tarantino and Rosen. One, to be able to scamper back to the second base bag, but also by Tarantino, because it looked like Tarantino knew exactly what he was going to do, because he was going to take it and run with it, because he was on the run towards second base at that time.
Yeah, and you mentioned Rosen with a nice shot. It would have been very easily for him to freeze, as that ball was kind of lined right at him, and it was behind him, right into the glove of Tarantino, and Tarantino thought he had made the tag, but I'm guessing the first base umpire, Kevin Walker, is saying he missed the tag. So the line out to short for out number 1. And that'll bring up Michael Forgione, the second baseman, batting 167 on the season.
For all intents and purposes, that was a big out number 1. Because that could have easily, if that would have missed the glove of Tarantino or anything like that, I mean, we're talking it's a 2-1 game.
And it's no outs, runners on the corners at least, if not the run in. As the first pitch to Forgione, a called strike. A long looking here by Quesada now. That pitch will hit Forgione. So after 2 perfect innings, some trouble here at the bottom third of the Portland batting order. The leadoff hit from Rosen, and now the hit batter. And so back to the top of the order for the Pilots as Bo Brundage will step in. Brundage grounded out to Sondry, the first pitch he saw. Now a chance here with runners on first and second and just 1 out. And he takes that pitch, misses low for ball 1. It was the 3rd inning last night that saw the Pilots get back in it. Tigers led 4-1 after 2 innings last night, and then Portland came through with 3 in the top of the 3rd to tie things up. 1-0, and that just misses the outside corner for ball 2.
And Brundage is the guy I'm thinking of that was standing straight up in the batter's box. He basically stands straight up, and he's by no means a small guy. He's 6'4".
2-0, and that misses low for ball 3. So Quesada kind of gets the ball back and seemed like he kind of took a big sigh. Now we'll take a walk behind the mound. Quesada has not walked a batter, although just hit a batter. And now it's runners on first and second and just 1 out. A 3-0 count here to Brundage. You would think he'll be taken the whole way. And the fastball for a called strike, and Quesada kind of threw his arms up. I think he thought that pitch was the same as the pitch before, which was called ball 3, and this one called strike 1.
It seems so far the Tigers are not happy so far with the umpires. The controversial call at second base here just a moment ago, and now this one of the non-strike call.
And here comes Boris, and he's not going to get there. It lands for the base hit. Barry right there to scoop it up. So the second base hit of the inning for the Pilots as Boris came a long ways. This time tried to slide and make the catch, unable to do so. So the base hit for Brundage, and the bases are now loaded for Tate Budnick. And Tarantino heads to the mound to have a quick word with Quesada and perhaps try to just a word of encouragement, try to have him relax. Certainly a ground ball here. The Tigers could try to turn 2 and get out of the inning. As Budnick is 0 for 1. He flew out to right in the first. Batting just 196 on the season, the junior. Quesada certainly with runners on base has started to slow down. There's a fastball for a called strike.
Well, now without outs, force outs at every base, you would almost assume that it may be a little bit more of a calming effect, knowing that to rely on the defense a little bit in order to kind of get you out, help you get out of this inning for Casad. I mean, he's still got a 2-0 lead, and he could get a double play here easily.
And that pitch fouled off. The other thing would be big for Casad is if he could try to get his third strikeout of the night here against Budnick. And Budnick is a guy that will strike out 16 strikeouts in 56 at-bats this season. A little over, or a little under a strikeout per 4 at-bats. And an 0-2 count here. We'll see if he tries to throw something and get him to chase. And he does, and Budnick does not chase for ball 1.
Free after that pitch. Kind of looked over at third base to see if he was going to catch Rosen napping. Hayes kind of started walking over there, but with Hayes pretty much parallel to Rosen, Rosen was able to go back to the base easily.
Corner infield playing in, middle infield looking to turn 2. A 1-2 count here to Budnick. The base is loaded and 1 out, setting up outside, and just missing the corner is Casad for ball 2.
I'm surprised Free didn't go for an appeal there. It was a close swing. It didn't look like he broke the plane, but he could have still at least asked over at the first base side.
So they're counting now 2 balls and 2 strikes. See if Free sets up outside again, or if they come inside. It looks like this time they're going to come in. The 2-2. And strike 3 called. Fastball down the middle. So a big strikeout there for Casad. His 3rd strikeout of the night as he gets Budnick to strike out looking.
Big strikeout there for Cooper Casad, who is looking to find a way to get out of this bases loaded in and probably going to face arguably his toughest opponent here in Matt Kelly on the Pilot side.
Yeah, the sophomore batting .295 on the season. He flew out to right in the first inning as well. As bases are loaded, but now 2 outs. And that fastball on the outside corner, a called strike. Kind of a couple bloop base hits, a hit batter, loaded the bases, but now Casad a chance to get Kelly and strand 3 after going 3 up, 3 down in the first 2 innings. Some trouble here in the second, or the third, the 0-1, and that's line to center, and that will hang up just long enough for Boris to make the catch for out number 3. So Portland loads the bases, but they do not score through 2.5. Tigers lead the Pilots 2-0 on the Pacific Digital Network and the W.TV.
She's 16 years old, but she looks like she's 25, wearing a tight dress she'll rip off in a shady motel room. She thought this was the life she wanted. She got the money, the clothes, the attention from her pimp, but she also can't imagine living without prostitution. She doesn't think she's a victim. She thinks she's in control, but she can't leave. When she's no longer the sexy little girl they want, she may only see one way out. This girl lived here in Stockton. She's one of thousands of girls in the city who has been sex trafficked but doesn't see herself as a victim. Call the local Stockton Human Trafficking Hotline to report any tips at 209-948-1911. If you see anything, say something. You will be saving a life. And if you are this girl, there is hope. Call 209-948-1911. You are worth it.
We head to the bottom of the 3rd inning here from Klein Family Field with Pacific leading Portland 2-0 as the Pilots loaded the bases in the top half but stranded 3 as the Tigers here in the 3rd will have the 2-3-4 part of their batting order due up. Tarantino, Free, and Schultz. And should somebody reach Danny Mayer after that. So Tarantino to lead off. Tarantino reached on a walk in the first, would come in and score on Mayer's 2-out, 2-run single as that pitch misses in the dirt for ball 1. Miller through 2 innings has thrown 41 pitches, has allowed 3 hits, 2 runs, 1 of the 2 earned. And then all 6 of the outs have come with the strikeout. And the count now goes to 2 balls and no strikes. That pitch chopped foul.
And we can go back to the top half of the inning. Cooper Casad had that big strikeout to make it 2 outs, and he did it with a fastball inside, and that was kind of impressive considering he's already hit a batter earlier in that inning.
And that ball lined right back into center field for a base hit. So for the second time tonight, the Tigers with a leadoff base runner as Tarantino continues his outstanding junior season with the leadoff base hit to center. So he's now reached base twice, and that'll bring up freshman catcher James Free. 0 for 1. Was caught looking in the first. Now batting .323 on the season. We've mentioned Free's big night last night. The 2 home runs to now have 10 on the season. And first pitch swinging, a flare to center, and we'll see if that will land. And it hangs up just long enough for Brundage, who is playing fairly deep, to come charging in and make the catch. So Free flies out to center for out number 1.
Brundage was able to read that one right off the bat. A good jump by Brundage. It was pretty much, he read it as soon as it was swung and was able to, albeit that he was playing fairly deep, he was nearly towards the warning track in center field and shaded a little to the right and was able to make a run on the, make a catch on the run for a nice out.
Yeah, I almost thought perhaps it was going to fall for a base hit similar to we saw for Portland in the top half, although that one also hung up a little longer. A good break by Brundage, so Free flies out to center for out number 1, and that'll bring up Ryan Schultz. Schultz also struck out in the first. He went down swinging. Now hitting .296 on the season.
With Freeze out, what that also does is that does eliminate the consecutive out streak via the K.
That's true. He's no longer on pace for 27 strikeouts, which we learned between innings thanks to SID extraordinaire Kevin Wilkerson, because nobody else would have figured that out without his help.
No, it's one of those things I don't think I paid attention to too much, so it's a good point, though.
That some difficult math there. If he gets every out by the strikeout, he would be on pace for. So no longer on pace for 27 strikeouts is Grady Miller.
But he's on pace for 26.
Not really, because if he gives up one non-strikeout out per 3 innings, he would actually be on pace for 24.
Which is still pretty good.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to get near that, but we'll see.
Well, he's past 50 pitches. We're in 3 innings, so.
Yeah, in fact, he's about to throw his 50th pitch right now. Tarantino, the runner at first, he led off the inning with a base hit to center. And there's a base hit into the gap in left center. We'll see if that'll roll all the way to the wall, and it almost does. Cut off at the warning track. Being waved around is Tarantino. The throw home, not in time. Scoring standing up all the way from first is Tarantino. Schultz, the RBI double to left center. And the Tigers now lead 3-0 here in the third. That was Schultz's 27th run batted in. His 12th double. So Schultz hit that ball well, kind of in the gap between Hawken and Brundage, and Brundage was able to get to it before it got to the wall, getting to it on the warning track, but Tarantino runs well easily, scoring all the way from first. So the RBI double for Schultz, and that'll now bring up Danny Mayer. Mayer had the 2-out, 2-run single in the first, and a chance here with a runner in scoring position once again as time is called, and Budnick will head out to the mound and have a word with Miller. A reminder, every Tuesday home game, it's $2 tacos all game long at Klein Family Field. Grab your friends and enjoy the $2 tacos on Tuesday with the Pacific Tigers. The next Tuesday home game is also the final Tuesday home game on May 9th against UC Davis at 6 p.m. First pitch to Mayer in the dirt for ball 1.
For Danny, that has to be great for his psyche, getting that base hit in the first inning, trying to get his swing back, as it's been pretty much a season struggle for him, but in his senior year. But it's nice to see him get things going, drive in 2, kind of makes him feel like he's not having to press so much.
And the 1-0 misses outside for ball 2. You see some shadows starting to creep across the infield. As we just now 7 o'clock here in Stockton. And that pitch misses low for ball 3. So Tigers already with a run in here, a runner in scoring position, and now a 3-0 count to Mayer. You would think Mayer will be taking here, although certainly maybe you give him the green light for a 3-0 fastball and try to hit it into the trees and left. 3-0, and that misses high and outside for ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk for Danny Mayer. And the Tigers will now have 2 on and 1 out for McKay Cassian. 0 for 1, he struck out swinging in the first. Batting from the left side. Looking, don't see anybody up and throwing in either bullpen at the moment as that pitch misses low for ball 1. So 5 straight pitches now out of the strike zone from Grady Miller. This coming after he struck out 6 in the first 2 innings. And now time is called and very slowly walking out.
Greg Swenson going to go ahead and have a little conversation with him, kind of put things out there.
Yeah,
his assistant coach for Pacific back in 2009 was Swenson.
In his second year now with the Pilots under head coach Jeff Loomis in his second season. Of course, the Tigers head coach Mike New in his second season.
And it's kind of what I was mentioning last night was that both teams still really trying to create their own identity, and both coaches dealing with very young players. Pacific have 8 seniors this season. The Pilots have 6. It's very young. It's a very young team that both of them have a lot of talent. That's for sure. The only thing is that they're trying to see what is their true identity. We're seeing a little bit of what Pacific holds right now. A lot of offense. Portland is able to capitalize on a lot of mistakes, and both teams are still learning how to truly work and gel as a unit.
This meeting is the 37th all-time between these two teams. The Tigers lead the all-time series 20-16 after the Pilots were victorious last night. And now a 1-0 pitch here, and it's a ground ball to second. A chance for the Pilots to turn 2 to second for 1, and that's all they'll get. Nice slide there by Mayer, and the throw not right on the bag. A nice job by Kelly to make sure they at least got the out at second. So McKay Cassian reaches on the fielder's choice, and it's now runners on the corners for the Tigers here with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Blake Berry. Berry 0 for 1. He struck out swinging in the second. And the time of night right now, kind of the ball will leave the pitcher's hand in the sun, then inner shadows. Kind of even a little bit of sun near the home plate. First pitch swing, drive to left center. Brennage will go back and make the catch near the warning track for out number 3. So the Tigers add to their lead through 3 innings. Pacific leads Portland 3-0 on the Pacific Digital Network.
Hello, son. I'm Dean Rubin from college. Here to invite you to join us this fall.
Me?
You've always wanted to go to college, correct?
Yeah.
Well, here's that invitation you've been waiting for.
Joey, out of bed.
Wake up. You can't dream your way into college. There are actual steps you need to take. For all the steps, visit knowhowtogo.org. Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Lincoln Center is Stockton's premier shopping and dining destination. Enjoy boutique shopping, our award-winning restaurants, and family-friendly atmosphere. Conveniently located at Pacific Avenue and Benjamin Holt, less than 15 minutes from the University of the Pacific. Visit LincolnCenterShops.com for a list of stores that offer a discount to all UOP students. Lincoln Center, always in style. And now, to call innings 4 through 6, a good buddy Jeff Dominic. Jeff, they're all yours.
Cooper Casad takes the mound here as he will work his 4th inning of work. In fact, Joe Slater's going to go ahead and have a he just looked like there was a baseball that just kind of found its way to the wrong spot. And James Free will just go ahead and send the little bit of confusion there as we got a chance to see assistant coach Joe Slater take the mound or go towards the mound and pick up a baseball. And now we'll get the festivities underway. Casad so far through 3 innings has given up 2 hits and struck out 3. No walks so far here through 3. He'll see the 4, 5, and 6 hitters will be Wade, Hawken, and Hicks. Wade 0 for 1, got caught looking in the 2nd inning, and Casad will come out of the windup. First pitch is a chopper over to Tarantino, a hard hit ball that will go off of his glove, and it'll be a throw to first. Still gets him for out number 1. That looked like it was going to be possibly, which has been traditionally unfortunate as he kicked it kind of far away. Still was in the same path and was able to still gather it, throw on to first for out number 1.
And I'm sure you had to be thinking as that happened, uh-oh, here we go again. The 4 errors last night and the takeover and first ball, a ground ball booted, but thankfully, nice job there by Tarantino to stay with it. And, like you said, the ball went the right way almost on the bounce, and nice strong throw to get out number 1.
Cody Hawken digs in, and the right-handed batter, first pitch he sees is smoked down the left field line and will hook foul past the barrier towards the grass around where some kids are hanging out. So on senior night here's the 0-1. And that is just low for ball 1. As it also is fireworks night presented by Amy Scrivens DDS. Jeff Dominic along with Paul Meiskens. Thank you all very much for joining us here tonight. We're in the top of the 4th. The 1-1 is high down the left field towards Barry. He'll reach up, make the catch for out number 1. Off the bat, it looked really good, but it just hung up way too high, and Barry was able to get under it for 2 outs.
Now batting, number 25, the designated hitter, Mike Hicks.
And so it'll bring up Mike Hicks. Hicks 0 for 1. He also struck out in the 2nd. That was 1 of the 3 strikeouts. We also mentioned that Wade struck out earlier, so 2 of those 3 strikeouts were in the 2nd inning. Here's Cooper Casad once again out of the windup. A chopper over to Tarantino. He'll charge it. He'll gather it himself, throw on to first, and that is out number 3. So that was pretty quick, pretty easy for the Tigers. A 1-2-3 inning. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Tigers lead 3-0 on the Tiger Digital Network.
Statistics show that there are more than 500,000 homeless people in the United States. 500,000 who will not have a roof over their heads, not have a warm bed to fall asleep in, and not know where their next meal will come from. Over 2,000 of them live in our backyard of the greater Stockton area in San Joaquin County. Few are aware of their struggles. The Pi Kappa Alpha fraternity at the University of the Pacific and Stockton Mayor Michael Tubbs will be holding a homelessness awareness event from April 12th through the 14th. During this time, the men of Pike will be experiencing the life of a homeless person by sleeping outdoors, only receiving food by donation, and raising money for local shelters and food banks. Mayor Tubbs will be speaking to the school and addressing this issue of homelessness in Stockton. Donations can be made to Pike's Hit of Reality through check, cash, and card. Every dollar raised will go back into your Stockton community so that someone will know that they won't be falling asleep hungry tonight. This message is brought to you by the Pi Kappa Alpha Fraternity, Kappa Nu Chapter, and Pacific Tiger Radio.
Pacific Athletics would like to thank Bank of Stockton for their generous support. Bank of Stockton, a proud partner of Pacific Athletics. Tigers were able to get a 1-2-3 inning, the third 1-2-3 inning out of 4. And we will see the 8, 9, and 1 hitters for the Tigers. It'll be Hayes, Sondri, and Boris. For Miller, the only thing you can think of is he's pitched well through 3. He had a shaky first for the Pilots, but otherwise he's pitched extremely well, has 6 strikeouts thus far, and just unable to get any offense going here for the Pilots. Miller already throwing his first pitch, a swing and a miss, a foul tip into the catcher's glove for strike number 1 to Carter Hayes. Hayes 0 for 1. He got caught looking in the second, one of the 6 strikeouts for Miller. And Grady Miller looks in. He deals the 0-1, and that's high for ball 1.
I mentioned the 6 strikeouts all coming in the first 2 innings. Tigers here, kind of the second time through the lineup, have started getting better swings, putting the ball in play, and you've seen the Tigers have 5 hits, 3 runs so far.
A chopper over to the shortstop, Kelly. He'll throw on to first. It goes 1 hop offline, and that will allow Hayes to reach first.
Yeah, there's the first error of the night for Portland, or actually the second error, excuse me. As that was, you can tell that was going to be a bad throw as soon as it came out of his hand, and that was nowhere near first.
I'll wait for the official word they actually credit him with the hit, it looks like. And they do. That's going to be a hit for Hayes, his first hit of the night. And that will bring up Kevin Sondry. Sondry 1 for 1. He had that flare into center field earlier, and now he has one that hits well and deep towards Hawken in left. Hawken right just in front of the warning track will make the catch, and that is out number 1.
Yeah, he was looking for the second hit there. Aggressive first pitch. He hit that one well. Just
looking for his first career home run.
And it's just a touch underneath it. Caught on the warning track.
That'll bring up Jimmy Boris. Boris 1 for 2 tonight. He struck out in the second. Had a base hit in the first. Came around later to score off that 2-out RBI single by Mayer. The left-handed batter steps in. And with Grady Miller in the stretch, takes a long look in. Now he'll focus on the runner at first. He deals. He's almost wanting to be a check swing, but went around did Boris for strike 1. Pacific wearing the black uniforms with the white pants, Pacific across their chest. The Pilots wearing the all gray, some wearing a little bit of a purple along their sleeves and socks, and wearing the big P on their hat that is all purple. Here's the 0-1. That is in the dirt. And running back to first is Carter Hayes. Portland across their chest. Hayes being held on by Wade. As Boris steps back in the left side batter's box. Here's the pitch here's the 1-1 by the lefty.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it looked like Boris was trying to check his swing, and the ball found the bat for a foul ball.
Second time that he's been a little unsure of that pitch. The first one was a strike after he's kind of went around, and then now this one that just kind of foul tipped off of the bat. And he didn't really like either of those pitches, but here's the 1-2 by the lefty. Check the runner at first before we do that. Now, Carter Hayes, albeit that he hasn't had very many at-bats, he does not have a stolen base as well. And I've heard a lot of positive things about Carter Hayes, the young freshman playing third base. Here's that 1-2. A swing and a miss, strike 3. So the second time tonight that Boris goes down, the 7th strikeout by Miller, and there are 2 away.
Number 10, the shortstop, Matt Tarantino.
That brings up Matt Tarantino, the right-handed batter, junior. He scored 2 runs tonight. He walked in the first. Later, once again, that 2 RBI base hit by Danny Mayer. He also scored in the third, thanks to a Ryan Schultz double.
Yeah, on that double, he showed off his speed, scoring all the way from first.
Check the runner back at first. That was a little high throw, but luckily Wade over there, who stands 6'5", was able to make that catch.
We've already seen the one error from Miller on the throw to second in the center field.
So here's the first pitch by the lefty, and that is outside for ball 1. Tarantino has been fairly solid in this series so far. 2 for 5 last night, 1 for 1 tonight. He's reached base in the 2 official at-bats tonight. So put him 3 for 6 and reaching base effectively. Here's the 1-0. That is just outside for ball 2, and that was a good pitch by Miller. Just did not get the friendly call. On deck is James Free. Should Tarantino be able to extend this inning? (2-0) looks in. Here's the 2-0. That's up high for ball 3. So a 3-0 count, and he's in danger of losing Tarantino. And then you have the young freshman that has, I would say, shocked the world in a lot of senses in James Free, where he's been a big Tiger producer. Here's the 3-0. That one is about belt high, called for strike 1, pretty much right down the middle. Runners on first. That's Hayes. He had that leadoff base hit to start the 4th for the Tigers. Here's the 3-1. That's low and outside. Ball 4. And a 2-out walk. Second walk of the night for Tarantino. And that brings up James Free, as there's going to be a little conversation on the mound between Budnick and Miller.
The catcher, James Free.
And you would wonder how much longer is Miller going to go. Maybe they're hoping to for him to get through 5. Already 70 pitches here in the 4th. A lot of pitches thrown when you strike out 7 and walk 3. Doesn't look like anybody's throwing in the bullpen yet.
Well, this game is definitely not out of hand, so if he can get out of this inning, you would hope that he'd be in there for the 4th, but I would be surprised if start that 4th that there wouldn't be someone in that bullpen, as that first pitch misses inside and high for ball 1 to James Free. Free so far 0 for 2 tonight. He flew out into center field in the 3rd. Also got caught looking in the 1st. 43 hits and 134 at-bats. Here's the 1-0, and that's up high for ball 2.
We saw Miller kind of have a stretch an inning ago where he walked the batter and kind of threw about 5-6 straight pitches out of the zone, and here 6 out of his last 7 pitches have missed for balls.
The 2-0 by the lefty. A swing and a miss, strike 1. And in some counts, you can understand. Tarantino, a very solid hitter, has shown that he earned that number 2 spot to be batting in the batting order. James Free, Brian Schultz, the 2, 3, 4 hitters have definitely earned to be where they're at, and you can see why. All of them batting over 300 at this point. Here's the 2-1, and that's outside ball 3.
And so the second batter in a row, a 3-1 count, and you would think he really doesn't want to throw a 3-1 fastball to somebody like James Free at the plate, although Schultz on deck has a double off him, and the thing he wants is to load the bases. See if Free gets the green light here.
The 3-1. That is inside, and that's ball 4. So another back-to-back 2-out walks, and that will bring up Ryan Schultz. Schultz, 1 for 2 today. He drove in a run in the 3rd inning, a double that scored Tarantino. So it'd be almost kind of fitting that if he was to reach, if Schultz was able to do it again and Tarantino scores, Schultz is just driving in Tarantino at this point.
Yeah, although right now if he scores Tarantino, he's going to score at least Hayes as well.
Exactly.
And who knows, if he hits the ball like he did in the last at bat, he might be scoring Free as well. Although Free, not quite as fast as Tarantino, but certainly with 2 outs going on contact. Chance here for the Tigers to really try to break it open.
So here's the first pitch to Schultz, and the first pitch he sees is a high fly ball into left field. Going back and making a leap and making the catch is Hawken for out number 3. So Schultz was able to give it a ride. We almost saw it was close to a grand salami, but also it could have been off the wall. But it was right at the warning track, and Schultz was unable to drive in anybody. So the Tigers get the bases loaded. It is 3-0 as we head to the top of the 5th inning here on the W.TV and on the Tiger Digital Network.
San Francisco SPCA, a non-profit animals shelter which is to save and protect animals, provide care and treatment. In 2015, the leave release rate for the entire city of San Francisco reached 93%. We imagine a community where every animal has a loving home, where animals don't need the support of San Francisco's recruits and shelters. The SFSPCA is an independent, local non-profit that receives no government funding and is not part of any national organization. We rely on your support. Come to join us. We can't do this without you. You can go to www.sfspca.org to donate or contact us 415-554-3000.
Wingstop is the destination when you crave fresh cooked-to-order wings with bold layered flavors. For the nearest location or to order online, visit wingstop.com. Cooper Casad will go ahead and step in for his 5th innings worth of work if he can make it through 5. He has pitched extremely effectively as he has gone through 4 innings so far, given up 2 hits and struck out 3 pilot batters. Jeff Dominic along with Paul Meiskens, thank you all very much for joining us as the first pitch is swung on in line to Schultz. He'll gather it, step on the bag, and that is a quick 1 pitch, 1 out number 1.
Yeah, since you've put on the headset, or you've taken over the play-by-play role, Portland has increased their aggressiveness. I think we counted a 5-pitch top of the 4th and 1 pitch, 1 out here in the 5th.
So Cooper Casad pitching extremely well as the first pitch swinging by Thaxton goes fouled back to go to 0-1. Thaxton lined out to the shortstop, which was almost a double play in the 3rd inning. It really, so far, has been Casad's toughest inning. Here's the 0-1. Curveball that goes outside for ball 1.
Well, yeah, that was the only inning they had anybody on. They had a 1, 2, 3, 1st, 2nd, and 4th inning. So yeah, I think the 3rd was probably his most difficult.
Here's the 1-1, a swing and foul towards the on deck circle or right next to the Tigers dugout. Go to 1 and 2.
Well, we mentioned he had his longest outing of the season by far. His last start last week, going 8 innings at St. Mary's. Before that, he had only gone 5 in a game against BYU, and right now you would have to think he might be able to go 7, 8, 9 innings, especially with the pitch count just now, just over 50 pitches, and here we are in the 5th.
It should be his 56th pitch to Thaxton. Here's the 1-2, and that's low and outside. Ball 2. So just getting underway here in the top of the 5th. 1 out already on a 3 unassisted. We'll ground out towards the first baseman. Here's the 2-2. Caught him looking for strike 3. 4th strikeout of the night for Cooper Casad, and there are 2 away here in the 5th.
Now batting, number 3, second baseman, Michael Forgione.
And that brings up Michael Forgione. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning, reached second base after a base hit by Brundage put him over to second. But the Pilots were unable to be capitalize on that as the first pitch, a fastball right about thigh high on the inner half for strike 1.
Yeah, that was the inning the Pilots loaded the bases with the 1 out after the Brundage single. And then Casad got that big strikeout of Budnick looking, and then got Kelly to line out to center.
The 0-1's in the dirt for ball 1. For the Tigers, we'll see the 5, 6, 7 hitters in the next or in the bottom half of the inning. Mayer, Koisian, and Barry. Here's the 1-1. A swing and a miss. Strike 2. Michael Forgione, the right-handed batter, steps back in the batter's box. Here's the 1-2 by Casad. He deals. A pitch that goes in the dirt, falls out of the catcher's glove, and it'll go to 2-2. On deck, the leadoff the leadoff hitter for would be Brundage. Here's the 2-2. A swing and a miss. Or are they going to call that a foul? They do. They called that a foul. I was ready to ring him up before it actually happened.
Yeah, Freed just unable to hold on to it. So, Max, you're not the only one who thought it was going to be strike 3. Put it in the stat program. I'll have to go back and redo that one, although maybe Casad gets the strikeout here on this one.
Oh, we won't have to worry about it. Here's the 2-2, and that goes into the dirt to go to 3-2. Casad looked a little frustrated on that one. He thought he knew he must have tried to overthrow that one a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's not upset about the ball calls. It bounced about 2 feet in front of home.
Exactly, yeah. You're not going to complain too much about that. I think he was more or less frustrated with himself. The 3-2 is underway, and that is a flare over to Tarantino. He'll try and make the throw, but a speedy Forgione, and he is safe with a 2-out base hit.
Yeah, not the best of throws, although even with a good throw was not going to get him. Chopper running well, so not a 1-2-3 inning, and back to the top of the order.
Well, Tigers are fortunate to have as many 1-2-3 innings as they've had, and so we head to the top of the order, and that's Brundage. Brundage 1 for 2 tonight, grounded out, and then had a base hit in the third. Check the runner back. It gets away from Schultz. And Sondrio on a long run. He'll have to make a hard throw. And it's a good throw, but not in time. So from first to third goes Forgione. A 2-base error. Still with 2 away, but a runner in scoring position now.
Yeah, now both pitchers with an error on a throwing error on a pickoff attempt. And one of those cases there, you gave up the hit with 2 down. Just concentrate on the batter, and now a base hit will score a run.
And Forgione runs well. He has 6 stolen bases. So I understood the concern. Here's the first pitch to Brundage, and it's in there for strike 1. Understand the concern, but with 2 outs, Paul, I think we kind of nailed it on the head. Just focus on the guy that's at the plate right now. The left-handed batter digs in. The 0-1 is fouled back to go to 0-2. Some of those learning curves still taking effect.
Yeah, I mean, you want to worry about them somewhat, but sometimes I think pitchers are guilty of being worried a little too much on the base runner, and not just concentrating more on the batter.
Righty on lefty matchup. The righty deals. Here's the 0-2, and that is chopped. That'll go foul. Well past the sweets, and it'll stay 0-2. A nice crowd here tonight for fireworks night. I'm looking around, kind of both down the side, both lines. Once again, also senior night for the Tigers. This will be the last time that these seniors will see either team. Here's the 0-2, and that's also fouled back. And I'm saying that obviously for the Portland Pilots. This is the last time that the seniors will see the Tigers.
And the last time the juniors will come here as well.
That's the last time the juniors will come here. You're absolutely right.
Although they'll still be here tomorrow, but
of course,
senior night tonight with the bigger crowd and fireworks.
The 0-2, and that is right up the line, and Cooper Casad almost completely had to do the Olay, and there will score a run. Casad not happy with himself as he was talking into his mitt.
Well, he knows his error led to that run. If not for his throwing error, that base hit just has the runner going to second. Instead, it's an unearned run, and 2-out rally here for the Pilots.
So the Pilots were able to score a run. They now trail 3-1 here in the 5th. That'll bring up Tate Budnick. Budnick, the catcher. We've talked about him earlier. He'll play a couple different positions. He was the starting pitcher in last night's game. First pitch is pop foul. It'll go to 0-1. Budnick 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out looking in the 3rd. Brundage now on first after the 2-out base hit. Scored a run. Scored for Gioni. The 0-1. And did they say that? They're saying the Budnick saying that hit him. The home plate umpire is saying no, it did not. We'll go to 1-1. It'll just be a ball in the stat column. So with 2 outs, Brundage on first sets us up for the 1-1. Casad looks at runner at first. He deals. Swing and a miss, strike 2. So it looked to be a starting of an easy inning. Has played a run all with 2 outs. But Casad looking to finish things off here and get the Tigers up to bat as he checks the runner back at first.
Yeah, and really before Brundage's hard hit single, really looked like it was going to be another 1-2-3 inning. You got the infield single, then the throwing error played such a big factor for Brundage's second hit to get Portland on the board.
Brundage does have 7 stolen bases. He's attempted 13. Here's the 1-2. Swing and should be a swing, right? He got him. So that's out number 3. I just it threw me off because Free checked did a snap throw to the runner at first, and with that, the inning is over. The top of the inning is over. We'll head to the bottom of the 5th. Tigers lead 3-1 here on the W.TV and on the Tiger Digital Network.
She's 16 years old, but she looks like she's 25, wearing a tight dress she'll rip off in a shady motel room. She thought this was the life she wanted. She got the money, the clothes, the attention from her pimp, but she also can't imagine living without prostitution. She doesn't think she's a victim. She thinks she's in control, but she can't leave. When she's no longer the sexy little girl they want, she may only see one way out. This girl lived here in Stockton. She's one of thousands of girls in the city who has been sex trafficked but doesn't see herself as a victim. Call the local Stockton Human Trafficking Hotline to report any tips at 209-948-1911. If you see anything, say something. You will be saving a life. And if you are this girl, there is hope. Call 209-948-1911. You are worth so much.
Pacific Athletics would like to thank Chase Chevrolet for their generous support. Chase Chevrolet, a proud partner of Pacific Athletics. Bottom of the 5th here at Klein Family Field. Jeff Domick along with Paul Meiskens. West Coast Conference Baseball we have for you tonight between the Portland Pilots and the University of Pacific Tigers. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Tigers lead 3-1. They'll be coming up to bat. We'll see the 5, 6, 7 hitters will be Mayer, Koisian, and Barry. And should anybody reach, it'll be Carter Hayes.
Now batting number 34, right fielder, Danny Mayer.
And for Danny Mayer, he's 1 for 1. He has 2 official at-bats. He walked in the 3rd, but he will lead off here to get us going here in the bottom of the 5th. For Portland, it'll be 3, 4, 5 hitters in the top of the 6th. Here's the first pitch by the lefty. A swing and a miss, a breaking ball that had Mayer on his front foot. Grady Miller, through 4 innings, has given up 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 of those being earned, and has struck out 7 opposing batters. He's also given up 4 walks. The 0-1 by the lefty is hit well and hard, but it will hook well foul to go to 0-2.
And that ball might be found in a front seat of a car.
That was hit hard. I'm glad I parked way, way back, but even that might still find a way to get there.
That's I always park behind. It's a lot harder to hit a long foul ball straight back.
True, true. So Mayer in 0-2 hole. That one is up high and outside, ball 1.
Looks like some action in the Tigers bullpen. We don't see anybody in Portland's.
Here's the 1-2 by the lefty, and that is going to go and well past the catcher's glove and bounce right back to him to go to 2-2. We see that fairly often, time and time again. That backstop is brick, so the ricochets can be more dangerous than the impact.
If there was a guy on first almost throwing that wild pitch, he'd take off and the ball would bounce right back, and you'd probably have a chance to throw him out.
The 2-2 is underway. A swing and foul tip, but into the catcher's glove. That is strikeout number 8 for Grady Miller.
And the first time tonight, Mayer's been gotten out.
Brings up McKay Koisian. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Reached on a fielder's choice. A 6-4 ground out that got Danny Mayer out, but was unable to turn 2 was Portland. First pitch he sees is a shot down to right field. Under it is Rosen, and he hit it well, just in the wrong spot. As Rosen had to take a little bit of a run and got under it well and reached up, make the catch for out number 2. So quickly in this inning, there are 2 away. It brings up Blake Berry. Berry 0 for 2 tonight, struck out in the second, and the first pitch is on the ground. And a tough play for the pitcher, and he's going to be out, and that's kind of that's questionable. That one's questionable. That would look like he was safe, but nevertheless, the inning is over. We head to the top of the 6th. The Tigers lead 3-1.
All right, Tiger fans.
We'll head to the top of the 6th here momentarily on the W.TV and on the Tiger Digital Network.
A clip of the song. If you think you can identify that song correctly, name an artist, then please meet our marketing team member.
Thousands of cats and dogs each year are housed in animal shelters. Local volunteers and workers help to give these poor animals a second chance. But they can't do it alone. Please go down to your local shelter today to volunteer, donate, or adopt. Your support can help end the 4 million euthanations performed each year on animals. Please help. Give a little to save a lot of life. For more information, visit us at www.humanesociety.org.
The Scholarshare Tiger Pack is back. For just $40, you can grab 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, and 4 sodas to any Pacific baseball game. It's the best value in town. For more information about the Scholarshare Tiger Pack, head online to pacifictigers.com/Tiger Pack. We've hit the top of the 6th inning, and there has been a pitching change. And so Cooper Casad's night is done. We'll give you we can give you his line right now before anything flips over. He's gone through 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, no earned runs, struck out 5 pilot batters. And he's in line for the win tonight. As he pitched well, 73 pitches. A very impressive outing for him tonight.
So he'll leave in line for the win and brings in a guy that was impressive earlier this week on Tuesday against Sac State, Justin Giovannoni, the junior right-hander from Stockton. 0-2 on the season with a 4.74 ERA. His 11th appearance of the season, 9 of those 11 coming out of the bullpen. As Giovannoni, over 19 innings, has allowed 10 earned runs, walked 11, and struck out 8. So, second time this week, we will see Giovannoni, although this time coming in out of the bullpen with the Tigers leading 3-1 after 5.
So he'll see the 3-4-5 hitters. It'll be Kelly, Wade, and Hawken. Hicks would be following should anybody reach. Once again, what a fantastic showing Cooper Cassad has been able to show. Here's the first pitch, and that is going to be fouled back towards the Tiger dugout to go to 0-1. The righty digs back in. Here's the 0-1. That is outside, ball one. No outs, just getting away here in the top of the 6th. Tigers leading 3-1. Here's the 1-1. A nubber that goes over to Carter Hayes at third. He bobbles it, and there will be no play. What was a slowly hit ground ball, but it'll be charged an error to Carter Hayes. And now with the runner on first.
Now batting, number 32, our first baseman, Kevin Wade.
Brings up Kevin Wade. Wade 0 for 2 tonight. With no outs here. The second error of the night for the Tigers as he squares around a bunt. It's popped up, but it'll land well foul.
Yeah, the runner also was on the move as well on the pitch, and probably if he just didn't bunt it, probably would have been a stolen base for Kelly. Instead, got to go back to first.
Kelly has 11 stolen bases on the season. He's only been caught 4 times. 73% stolen base percentage. On deck is Hawken. Their 3-4-5 hitters are 0 for 7 so far tonight. Check the runner back at first. It's pretty obvious and pretty evident right now that they are focused on the runner at first. Again, he has 11 stolen bases. Does Kelly. Wade digs back in, the right-handed batter. Here's that 0-1, and that is fouled back once again. Go to 0-2.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier Portland yesterday able to capitalize off the Tigers' errors. The Tigers had 4 errors yesterday. They scored 6 of their 10 runs off those errors. Tigers had an error last inning, which led to their 1 run. An error here to lead off the inning. We'll see if the Pilots can once again capitalize off of the Tiger mistakes.
The 0-2 is underway. That is a curveball. It misses inside for ball 1. A good pitch there, just missing off the inner half. Giovannoni coming in with a 4.74 ERA. Has really seen that come down over the last couple of games that he's pitched. Here's that 1-2. And that is another curveball, but this time Kelly is able to foul it back, and it remains 1-2. Kelly grounded out to the shortstop in the 4th inning, Kevin Wade's grounded out to the shortstop in the 4th inning. Kelly's on first. Once again, checking the runner back at first.
You know, and we mentioned we saw Giovannoni on Tuesday against Sac State, which was a rare start for him in that game. He went 5 innings, allowed just 6 hits with only allowing 2 earned runs. It was an outstanding outing for him. See if he can build on that here.
The 1-2 is low to move it 2-2.
I mean, that outing on Tuesday was by far his longest outing of the season. Before that, his longest outing was just 2 2/3. And he went 5 on Tuesday, so almost wonder if it's been more than a few days, so probably not too tired from those 5 innings.
The 2-2, a swing and a miss, strike 3. So a big out there, and there's 1 away.
Yeah, a nice job there by Giovanni. You had the air to lead off the inning. Sometimes, even though he didn't give up the hit for the guy to get on, it still can be with your head, and try to do too much. But, after the leadoff air, nice job there to get the strikeout for out number 1.
The lights have started to take effect here as the shadows are gone to check the runner back at first. Back in time was Kelly.
You say that because the lights also took effect in here as well?
Yeah, that's what I did. Turned them on. 1 out here in the top of the 6th inning. Rings up Cody Hawkin. Here's the first pitch he sees, and that is on the inner corner for strike 1. Hawkin 0 for 2 tonight. Flew out to the second baseman in the second, and also popped out in the second baseman in the second, and then flew out to left in the 4th. Looking at an 0-1 spot here. Here's the righty's pitch, a curveball, and got Hawkin on his front foot for strike 2. Hawkin batting .248 so far this season.
Yeah, the Pilots is
sophomore year.
Pilots is a team, not a team that hit many home runs, but he's their leader with 5, although down it goes there.
Swinging away was Hawkin, and that is back-to-back strikeouts for Giovanni, and there are 2 away.
We talked about the Tigers as a team don't steal many bases. Well, Portland as a team don't hit many home runs. Coming into the weekend, just 22 home runs all season long. That's pretty surprising.
And the guy that's responsible for 2 of those home runs is stepping up, the designated hitter, Mike Hicks, batting .204 with 21 RBIs. Check the runner back at first once again.
In comparison, the Tigers coming into the weekend with 32 home runs on the season.
2 of them coming have 19, that being Free and Mayer.
Yeah, although with the 3 last night, the Tigers now 35 on the season.
There's a shot lined into left field. It's going to be off the wall. That may stand the runner. No, in fact, the third base coach says that he's going to hold up the runner, and there are runners on second and third with 2 outs.
And that's a great job by the left fielder, Barry, there to get to that ball quickly and not allow Kelly the chance to try to score. As that ball was hit pretty hard on the line. It got to him quickly, and Barry got there, did a nice job to field it off a hop off the wall. You would think with 2 outs, normally, if it's going to be closer, coach at third will send the runner, make them make a play at the plate, instead puts on the brakes. So, a chance here if Giovanni can get Rosen to hopefully strand a couple base runners.
And that's also surprising because Kelly has good speed. He's got 11 stolen bases this season, and not send him kind of a good play because it would be effective on the, causing possibly a 3rd out. But nevertheless, here's Jason Rosen coming in from the left side. The first pitch is low and inside for ball 1.
The Pilots haven't had many opportunities with runners on base. They did have 3 on base in the 3rd, and with 1 out, Tigers were able to get out of that without allowing a run, and now you got 2 runners here in scoring position. Hopefully the Tigers can leave them stranded.
So Hayes in close in the, at third. Here's the 1-0, and that's in the dirt as well. Actually, that just finds just extremely low. Free was able to gather it to go to 2-0. Yeah. There is a bag open, so.
Yeah, big at bat here. Rosen with 1 swing could tie this game, or the Tigers get back in the dugout with a 2-run lead.
Righty looks in. Here's the 2-0. That is right down the middle for strike 1.
And the second inning in a row,